Good evening, my weary academics, and welcome to History to Sleep By, where we nerd out and conk out. If you enjoy calm, narrated history documentaries, or just need a reliable friend to help with restless nights, please subscribe, leave a like, and maybe share a comment about what's happening in your life. That way, you'll always find your way back to us. Now, let's begin tonight's journey. In the late summer of 1777, the British forces, under the command of General William Howe, aimed to capture Philadelphia, the heart of the American Revolution. The British had disembarked at Head of Elk, now Elkton, Maryland, with the intent to advance northward. The plan was to seize the city and deal a significant blow to the American cause. Howe, along with Lieutenant General Charles Cornwallis, commanded a well-equipped and disciplined army poised to engage the Continental forces led by General George Washington. Washington's army was strategically positioned along the Brandywine Creek near Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania. His forces were spread out, with divisions under the command of Generals Sullivan, Sterling, Stephen, and Greene. General Anthony Wayne was stationed at Chadds Ford, a critical crossing point over the creek. Meanwhile, Maxwell's light infantry provided an essential screen, tasked with delaying the British advance and gathering intelligence. The terrain around Brandywine Creek was varied, with several key fords that could be used to cross the waterway. Chadds Ford was the most direct route, but the British had other plans. They intended to use a combination of deception and maneuver to outflank the American positions. Howe devised a plan where Knyphausen would demonstrate at Chadds Ford, creating the illusion of a direct assault. Meanwhile, Howe and Cornwallis would lead a flanking march, crossing the creek further upstream at Trimble's Ford on the west branch and Jeffress Ford on the east branch. As dawn broke on September 11, 1777, the British began their movements. Early skirmishing erupted as Maxwell's light infantry engaged the advancing British troops. The morning mist clung to the fields and woods, shrouding the movements of both armies. The initial encounters were sharp but inconclusive, with both sides probing for weaknesses. By midday, faulty intelligence reached Washington, suggesting that the main British force was at Chadds Ford. In response, Washington ordered his troops to redeploy, concentrating his forces to meet what he believed to be the primary threat. It was a critical miscalculation. Unbeknownst to the Americans, Howe and Cornwallis were executing their flanking maneuver, moving unseen through the countryside. As the afternoon sun rose higher, the British flanking column emerged near Birmingham Meeting House. The American forces, caught off guard, scrambled to form a defensive line along Birmingham Hill. The fighting was fierce and chaotic. Amidst the smoke and confusion, the young Marquis de Lafayette, serving as a volunteer under Washington, was wounded but continued to rally the troops. Back at Chadds Ford, General Wayne held his position against Knyphausen's feigned attack. The sounds of battle echoed from the north, signaling the true direction of the British assault. General Greene, realizing the danger, moved to cover the American retreat. His actions provided a crucial rear guard, allowing the main body of Washington's army to withdraw in an orderly fashion. As the day waned, the American forces retreated along the Dilworth Town and Chester Road. The withdrawal was not a rout, but it was clear that the British had gained the upper hand. Casualties mounted on both sides. The Americans suffered approximately 1,300 casualties, including wounded and captured. The British losses were lighter, around 600 in total, but they had achieved their objective. The immediate result of the Battle of Brandywine was an American retreat. The road to Philadelphia lay open, and the British pressed forward. By the end of September, they occupied the city, a symbolic victory that they hoped would demoralize the American cause. Yet, despite the setback, Washington's army remained intact, retreating to regroup and continue the fight for independence. As you drift into a peaceful slumber, let your mind wander through the serene landscapes of Pennsylvania, imagining the quiet after the battle. The fields and woods, once filled with the clamor of conflict, now rest under the gentle embrace of night. The story of Brandywine is but one chapter in the long and winding tale of the American Revolution, a testament to the resilience and determination of those who fought for a new nation. Sleep well, dear listener, and dream of history's quiet echoes. In the aftermath of the Battle of Brandywine, the American forces found themselves in a reflective pause. The countryside, dotted with autumn's early hues, offered a momentary respite. The soldiers, weary yet resolute, gathered their strength amidst the rolling hills and whispering trees. Washington, ever the steadfast leader, sought to instill hope and courage in his men. He knew the path ahead was fraught with challenges, but he also understood the power of perseverance. As the British settled into Philadelphia, the city buzzed with the uneasy energy of occupation. The streets, once vibrant with the spirit of independence, now bore the weight of foreign presence. Yet, beneath the surface, the embers of resistance smoldered. Loyalists and patriots alike navigated this new reality, each side driven by their convictions. The taverns and meeting houses became places of quiet plotting and whispered conversations, where plans for the future were carefully laid. Meanwhile, the Continental Congress, displaced from Philadelphia, found refuge in the town of York, Pennsylvania. Here, amidst the simple surroundings, they continued their vital work. The delegates, undeterred by the loss of the city, remained committed to the cause. They drafted letters, debated strategies, and sought alliances, their determination unwavering. The spirit of independence, though tested, burned brightly in their hearts. Back in the field, Washington's army regrouped. The men, though battle-worn, found solace in their shared purpose. They trained and prepared, their resolve growing stronger with each passing day. The countryside around them, with its gentle streams and rustling leaves, provided a tranquil backdrop to their efforts. In the quiet moments, they dreamed of victory, of a future where their sacrifices would bear fruit. The British, confident in their recent successes, underestimated the resilience of their adversaries. They saw the occupation of Philadelphia as a turning point, a decisive blow to the American cause. Yet they failed to recognize the depth of commitment that lay within the hearts of those they opposed. The American spirit, though battered, was unbroken. As the days turned to weeks, the landscape began to change. The crisp air carried the scent of approaching winter, a reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. Washington, ever mindful of his army's needs, focused on securing supplies and strengthening defenses. He knew that the coming months would test their endurance, but he also knew that unity and resolve would see them through. In the quiet hours of the night, as the stars cast their gentle glow over the land, the soldiers found moments of peace. They gathered around campfires, sharing stories and songs, their camaraderie a balm for weary souls. The flickering flames danced in the darkness, a symbol of hope and resilience. In these moments, the dream of a free and independent nation felt within reach. The British, settled comfortably in Philadelphia, enjoyed the comforts of the city. Yet, beneath the surface, tensions simmered. The occupation was not without its challenges, and the complexities of war weighed heavily on their minds. As they navigated the intricacies of governance and control, they too felt the strain of the conflict. As autumn gave way to winter, the landscape transformed. The fields, once vibrant with color, lay blanketed in snow. The world seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the next chapter in this unfolding drama. Washington and his men, ever vigilant, prepared for the trials ahead. The story of the Revolution, with its twists and turns, continued to unfold. In the stillness of the night, the echoes of history whispered through the trees. The land, shaped by the footsteps of those who had come before, held their stories in its embrace. The journey of the American Revolution, with its moments of triumph and despair, was a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to dream. As you drift into sleep, let the gentle cadence of history's tale lull you into rest. Imagine the quiet fields, the rustling leaves, and the distant glow of campfires. In this serene landscape, the echoes of the past mingle with the dreams of the future. Sleep well, dear listener, and let the story of resilience and hope guide you through the night. As the night deepened, the soft glow of the moon cast gentle shadows across the encampment. The soldiers, weary from the day's march, found solace in the quietude that enveloped them. Their thoughts, a tapestry of hopes and fears, drifted like the smoke from their fires, curling into the starlit sky. Each man, wrapped in his own reverie, was a part of a larger story, a story that was still being written with every step they took. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth, a reminder of the land they fought to claim as their own. In the distance, the faint call of a night bird punctuated the silence, a solitary note in the symphony of the night. It was in these moments, when the world seemed to hold its breath, that the enormity of their undertaking settled upon them. Yet, in their hearts, there was a flicker of determination, a quiet resolve that whispered promises of freedom and a new beginning. Nearby, the officers gathered around a makeshift table, their maps spread out before them. By the dim light of a lantern, they traced routes and contemplated strategies, their voices low and measured. The weight of leadership rested heavily on their shoulders, but they bore it with a sense of purpose that transcended their own fears. Each decision was a step into the unknown, a gamble in a game where the stakes were the future of a nation. In the flickering firelight, stories of home were shared, tales of loved ones left behind, and dreams of a life beyond the war. These stories, woven with laughter and longing, were a balm to the weary souls who listened. They reminded each soldier of what they fought for, of the lives they hoped to return to when the echoes of battle had faded into memory. The bonds forged in these quiet moments were as strong as any forged in the heat of conflict, a testament to the unity that held them together. As the night wore on, the camp gradually fell silent, save for the soft rustle of leaves and the occasional crackle of the dying fires. The soldiers, wrapped in their blankets, surrendered to the embrace of sleep, their dreams mingling with the whispers of the past. In their slumber, they were visited by visions of victory and peace, of a land where their children could grow without the shadow of tyranny looming over them. The night sky, vast and eternal, watched over them, a silent guardian of their dreams. Its stars, ancient and wise, seemed to twinkle with the knowledge of ages, a reminder that history was a continuum, and they were but one chapter in its unfolding story. As the hours slipped by, the world held its breath, suspended in a moment of calm before the dawn. When the first light of morning touched the horizon, it brought with it a new day, a fresh canvas upon which the story of the revolution would continue to be painted. The soldiers stirred, shaking off the remnants of sleep, their spirits buoyed by the promise of a new beginning. The camp came alive with the sounds of preparation, the clatter of pots, the murmur of voices, and the rustle of gear being packed for the day's journey. In the cool morning air, the officers gathered once more, their eyes scanning the horizon, their minds focused on the challenges that lay ahead. They knew that the road would be long and fraught with peril, but they were undeterred. Their resolve was as steadfast as the mountains that framed the landscape, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to dream of freedom. As the sun climbed higher, casting its golden light across the land, the soldiers set out once more, their footsteps a steady rhythm that echoed through the trees. They moved forward, guided by the light of hope and the strength of their convictions, each step a testament to their courage and resilience. The journey of the American Revolution continued, a story of struggle and triumph, of dreams realized and sacrifices made. In the quiet moments, when the world seemed to pause, the echoes of history whispered through the trees, a gentle reminder of the past and a promise of the future. The land, shaped by the footsteps of those who had come before, held their stories in its embrace, a silent witness to the unfolding tale of a nation being born. As the day unfolded, the soldiers marched onward, their hearts filled with the promise of a new dawn, a dawn of freedom and hope. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and violet. Nightfall brought a hush over the encampment, the soldiers settling into the rhythm of evening routines. Fires flickered to life, casting a warm glow against the cool night air. The scent of wood smoke mingled with the earthy aroma of the forest, creating a comforting cocoon around the weary men. They gathered in small groups, sharing stories and laughter, their voices a low murmur that blended with the sounds of the night. In the distance, an owl hooted, its call a reminder of the wilderness that surrounded them. The soldiers listened, their thoughts drifting to loved ones far away. Letters from home, carried across miles, were read and reread, the words a lifeline to a world that seemed distant yet ever present in their hearts. These moments of connection, fragile and precious, offered solace amid the uncertainties of war. Nearby, a young soldier sat alone, his gaze fixed on the flames. He was new to the ranks, his uniform still crisp, his eyes wide with the weight of all he had seen. The older soldiers watched him with a quiet understanding, remembering their own first days in the field. They knew the journey he faced, the challenges that lay ahead, yet they also knew the strength that would grow within him, forged by the trials and camaraderie of shared purpose. As the night deepened, the camp settled into a peaceful quiet. The soldiers lay wrapped in their blankets, the ground beneath them hard but familiar. Stars twinkled overhead, a vast canopy stretching beyond the limits of human imagination. In this vastness, they found a sense of belonging, a connection to something greater than themselves. The universe, with its infinite expanse, seemed to cradle them gently, a reminder of the enduring cycle of life and the passage of time. Sleep came slowly, a gradual surrender to the embrace of night. Dreams wove through their minds, a tapestry of memories and hopes. In these dreams, the soldiers saw visions of home, of fields and rivers, of family and friends. They dreamed of a future where peace reigned, where the struggles of the present gave way to the prosperity of tomorrow. These dreams, fragile yet resilient, fueled their resolve, a beacon guiding them through the darkest hours. The night wore on, the camp a silent testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the stillness, the land seemed to breathe, a living entity that held the stories of countless generations. The trees, ancient sentinels, stood watch over the sleeping soldiers, their leaves whispering secrets carried on the wind. The earth, beneath the weight of history, cradled those who fought for its future, a silent partner in their quest for freedom. As dawn approached, a gentle light crept over the horizon, heralding the arrival of a new day. The camp stirred to life, the soldiers rising with the sun. They moved with purpose, their actions a practiced routine honed by necessity. Breakfast was a simple affair, shared in the quiet companionship of those who understood the unspoken language of brotherhood. The morning air was crisp, carrying the promise of the day's challenges and opportunities. With the sun now high in the sky, the soldiers prepared to move once more. They packed their belongings with care, each item a reminder of the life they had left behind. The march ahead was long, the path uncertain, yet they faced it with unwavering determination. The journey, though arduous, was a testament to their commitment, a reflection of the ideals that bound them together. As they set out, the landscape unfolded before them, a canvas painted with the colors of autumn. Leaves rustled beneath their feet, a symphony of nature that accompanied their march. The road stretched out, a ribbon of possibility leading them ever onward. Each step, though small, was a part of something greater, a movement towards a future shaped by their courage and sacrifice. The American Revolution, a tapestry of human endeavor, continued to weave its intricate pattern. It was a story of individuals united by a shared vision, a testament to the power of hope and the resilience of the human spirit. In the quiet moments, when the world seemed to hold its breath, the echoes of history whispered through the trees, a gentle reminder of the past and a promise of the future. The land, shaped by the footsteps of those who had come before, held their stories in its embrace, a silent witness to the unfolding tale of a nation being born. As the day unfolded, the soldiers marched onward, their hearts filled with the promise of a new dawn, a dawn of freedom and hope. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the landscape, the soldiers found solace in the rhythmic crunch of leaves beneath their boots. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth, a reminder of the vast wilderness that surrounded them. Each step forward was a step towards an uncertain future, yet it was a future they were determined to shape with their own hands. The camaraderie among them was palpable, a bond forged in the fires of shared struggle and unwavering resolve. The nights were often cold, the chill seeping into their bones as they gathered around small fires, seeking warmth and comfort. Stories were shared in hushed tones, tales of home and loved ones left behind, of dreams and aspirations that fueled their fight. These moments of quiet reflection were precious, a chance to remember what they were fighting for and to draw strength from the knowledge that they were not alone in their quest. The landscape itself was a testament to the challenges they faced. Dense forests stretched as far as the eye could see, their towering trees standing like silent sentinels. Rivers wound their way through the land, their waters cold and swift, a barrier to be crossed with caution and care. Yet, there was beauty in the wildness, a reminder of the untamed spirit that mirrored their own. Nature, in all its majesty, was both an ally and an adversary, shaping the course of their journey in ways both subtle and profound. As they moved through this vast expanse, the soldiers encountered others who shared their vision. Farmers and townsfolk, their lives disrupted by the tides of war, offered what little they could spare: a loaf of bread, a warm blanket, a place to rest for the night. These small acts of kindness were lifelines, threads in the tapestry of resistance that bound them all together. In return, the soldiers brought news of battles fought and victories won, tales that kindled hope and strengthened resolve. The passage of time was marked by the changing seasons, each bringing its own set of challenges. Spring brought the promise of renewal, the earth awakening from its winter slumber, while summer's heat tested their endurance under the relentless sun. Autumn painted the world in hues of gold and crimson, a fleeting beauty that gave way to winter's harsh embrace. Yet, through it all, the soldiers pressed on, driven by a vision of a future where freedom was not just a dream, but a reality. In the quiet moments, when the world seemed to pause, the soldiers found themselves reflecting on the journey thus far. They remembered the battles fought, the friends lost, and the sacrifices made. Yet, they also remembered the victories, both great and small, that had brought them closer to their goal. Each step forward was a testament to their resilience, a promise to those who had come before and to those who would follow in their footsteps. The nights grew longer, the stars a constant companion in the vast expanse of the sky. Beneath their watchful gaze, the soldiers found a sense of peace, a reminder that they were part of something greater than themselves. The constellations, timeless and unchanging, were a link to the past and a guide to the future, a map written in the heavens that spoke of hope and destiny. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the soldiers' resolve never wavered. They were driven by a deep and abiding belief in the cause they served, a belief that transcended the hardships they faced. Each challenge was met with determination, each setback with renewed vigor. They were, after all, the architects of their own destiny, builders of a new world where liberty and justice would prevail. In the end, it was this unwavering spirit that carried them forward, a beacon of light in the darkness. The American Revolution was more than a struggle for independence. It was a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, hope can endure. As the soldiers marched onward, their hearts filled with the promise of a new dawn, they knew that they were part of a story that would echo through the ages, a story of courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding pursuit of freedom.